We're on.
Come in, everybody. Sorry for the delay there. I wasn't getting the live signal, but we are live. This is Biscuits and SEC live. We've got a jam-packed show for you tonight with our wonderful guest picker, Rivers Hughey, joining us to talk about Week 3. Before that, we'll recap some Week 2 action. I know both Alex and I, Bossman and I, just wanted to start out the show. It's a bit of a somber day. What happened today in Utah is really tragic and heartbreaking. Charlie Kirk, a father of two and a husband, was killed. And, this is not a political show. And I certainly am not somebody that's going to have a lot of profound words to say about it. But I just think that, I don't know when this kind of stuff is going to stop. It's just the senseless violence is really tragic to see, and really just thoughts, prayers. My heart goes out to his family, the people that knew him after today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just heartbroken. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you find yourself on. I think we should all be saddened and heartbroken for what has occurred today. It is an unspeakable act of violence that should never take place in our country. I feel like our country's better than that. I know that so many who watch our show, are just wonderful people across the South, which is why we do what we do. We love the people of the South. We love the people of this country. I do. I know for sure. I love the United States, and I'm just sickened and really disheartened today. But prayers to Charlie Kirk, prayers to his family. Myself and Hammer are both Christians. I know many of you who watch us are as well. Happy to say that. We'll say that loudly. And I know Charlie Kirk was as well. So we can hope and pray that he is resting now in eternal peace with our Lord. And, one verse that came to mind for me today was Psalm 34:18, which is, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." So even in these, dark times, tragic events of today, and so many tragic events that we've seen recently, we know that the Lord is near, and we pray that he would be near to Charlie Kirk and to his family. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I think that we could all use at least a bit of a distraction for an hour or so tonight, and talk a little bit of football, which is something that brings people together a lot of the times. For us especially, I know that we can be at each other's throats sometimes and angry at each other, when it comes to football. But at the end of the day, we all love going and watching a game, and we all love watching football on TV. So let's all just have a little bit of a reprieve here for an hour. Let's enjoy some football talk. We're really excited to have on Rivers tonight. We've followed her for a long time, and just, love her humor and love what she does over at 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge. So really excited to have her on. Wish it was under better circumstances, but this is kind of where we're at. So we wanted to cold open the show tonight because we can't ignore it. It's all over, and just a somber day in our country. So if you all would, Hammer and I talked about it before the show. We'd like to just do a quick moment of silence for Charlie Kirk and for his family and for our country, because it's a sad day in our nation. So join us briefly here for a moment of silence. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for that, boss man. And yeah, we'll try to be a distraction and get back to football. Football, is definitely one of the things in this country that brings us together outside of, very rare circumstances. Generally speaking, sports and football are, just things that we can all get behind and bring everybody together. So we'll get into it. And as I said, we'll break down some of the stuff from last week, and then we'll get into this week's games with Rivers coming up here. We've got a big weekend ahead. Conference play is really getting underway. We've got some fun ones. I mean, Florida at LSU, Vanderbilt at South Carolina, Arkansas at Ole Miss, Georgia at Tennessee, all conference games that should be extremely exciting. Texas A&M, our alma mater, travels to Notre Dame, albeit not a conference game, but about as big as it gets in terms of, what's on the line, especially for Notre Dame after their 0-1 start. Somehow they had a bye week last week, which is kind of crazy to me, but 0-2, it's Notre Dame. They could probably climb out of that hole if they went 10-2, but margin for error slim. So big game in South Bend there. But before we get into that stuff, we do, as I said, want to break down some of the stuff we saw last week. So the first one, I don't know how we could lead with anything else other than what's going on in Gainesville. Kind of feel like a broken record because we talked about this last year, especially in the month of September, that Billy seemed like he was on the way out, and then he, turned things around. We're already, after 2 weeks, getting the statement or, vote of confidence from the athletic director, which, as we all know, is never a bad sign when you're getting a public statement made by your athletic director. But just a puzzling game against USF. Florida just didn't look ready. Frankly, I don't know if they were looking ahead to the LSU game, but they did not look prepared, could not finish drives, and really in no way did they look like the better team. Similar to what we said about Alabama in week 1 going up against FSU, this was no fluke. Florida didn't turn the ball over a bunch. There was no defensive or special team scores for USF. It was just an absolute dogfight, kind of a slog for both teams offensively, and Florida could not get it done. And when you talk about Billy Napier, and he's said as much again in this week's press conferences, he's the play caller, and he has no interest in giving that up. But from my perspective, when you're 20-20 in your 4th year overall at Florida, and you just scored 16 points at home against a group of 4 team, and you're the offensive coordinator, you got to look in the mirror, man. It doesn't seem like they're going to make changes. At least Billy doesn't seem like they're going to make changes. But what are your thoughts on what we saw in Gainesville a week ago, along with Napier's future there, whatever, future he has?
I like Billy Napier. I really thought that he would be a solid hire for this program and get it on track. But here we are a couple years into this experiment. And like you said, he's 20-20. SEC Mike put out the records of some of the other Florida coaches previously before Billy Napier, and when at the point in which they were fired. Jim McElwain was 22-12. He got fired before he got to 40 games. Will Muschamp, 24-16. And then Urban Meyer, previously before that, obviously he retired, but he was 31-9. Dan Mullen, also 31-9. So I just don't know. He's getting a long leash here, and they're giving him every opportunity to make it right and to get this thing right. And from everything that you hear from people both inside and outside the program, including large media figures like Josh Pate, it seems like everything internally that they are doing at Florida in terms of trying to build the culture, trying to do it the right way, trying to, instill these things that typically lead to wins, it's not translating for whatever reason. And I can't exactly put my finger on it, but in terms of the team, coming into this season, they were replacing, a decent amount on defense, but people were really excited about a lot that they brought in and some of the pieces they had returning on defense. And that defense pretty much did their job the other day, except for, the final drive where they allowed USF to go down and get right on the goal line to kick the game-winning field goal. But you only allowed 18 points for USF in the Swamp. That should get you a win 99 times out of 100. I mean, what are we talking about? So the problem then, you have to turn it around, and Billy Napier's the play caller. Like you said, this Florida offense looked anemic. They were excited about some of the pieces they were bringing in, this year, and excited about the wide receiver room. Maybe one of the better ones Florida's had in a while. DJ Lagway. I mean, I've been talking up DJ Lagway. You've been talking up DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway is an incredible talent. So where is the problem? And the problem seems to be at the top. And I'd never want to call for somebody's firing. I'm not. I want to see people succeed. And I like Billy Napier, so I want to see him succeed. But sometimes it's just not right, and you got to make a change. And I don't know where Florida's at in terms of NIL and money and donors and whatnot. I have a feeling they've got some donors they can find who would be willing to pay his buyout. It seemed like they had it ready to go last year, and then he ripped off a couple wins and he came back. So we'll see. There's a lot of season left to play, but you also got to look down their schedule, man. And it is brutal. I mean, we can bring it up here. Yeah.
Coming up.
You're staring down a gauntlet, right? It's LSU. Then you got to go to Miami, then Texas A&M. I mean, where does it end? And now you're looking at Mississippi State. Mississippi State is not a pushover. They just beat the number 12 team in the country. Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State, and I overlook Kentucky there, but you have to go to the big grocery bag in Lexington. And Kentucky has given you fits for a good while now. So I'm worried about Billy Napier. It does not look good right now for Florida or for his tenure. They were staring down, a tough gauntlet last year as well, and they made some hay and were able to get out of it. I just don't know if you can pull that same rabbit out of a hat 2 years in a row.
I'm with you. Looking down that schedule, every single one of those games is losable. There's a few I would give Florida the edge in, but there's also several that I would emphatically not give Florida the edge in. So you are looking – we'll learn a lot this weekend, because if things do not go well in Baton Rouge at night, you're very possibly looking at the wheels coming off and having a really, really horrendous season. The only other thing I want to add here, I brought it up a lot coming into the season, and it looked like to me that sort of came to fruition this weekend in the fact that the offense didn't practice together. DJ Lagway missed all of spring, missed all of fall camp. The receivers missed a lot of fall camp. I mean, and that's no one's fault. I'm not putting that on Napier, but man, they just weren't healthy. And that's what their offense looked like. They were inconsistent. They had no rhythm. They were out of sorts. Napier was calling some wild plays, trying to run reverses. And I don't know, just stuff that, in my opinion, a team like Florida should not have to do against a team like USF. But sometimes those plays work. So, it's easy to play armchair quarterback and say those were bad play calls because they didn't work. But I just think overall they very much to me looked like an offense that is not in sync. And I think some of that falls on Napier as the play caller, obviously. But I think some of that falls on just they didn't practice. They have no continuity. And, there's no way to get that now really in the season. I mean, you can get it week to week, but you're going to take L's if you can't find it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I had that thought over the weekend after they lost to USF, and just remembered your comments from the preseason talking about that. And I poo-pooed it. I mean, you can go back and watch the tape. I was like, I don't think so. I think DJ Lagway is just that good. And last year, right, it was kind of the same thing. DJ Lagway is a young quarterback. He hadn't had a whole lot of reps with the ones, and he came in there and lit it on fire and did great. And so – I just disagreed with you there, but now kind of the proof is in the pudding. We're 2 games into the season, and you already have a loss to USF on your schedule. So we'll see. Again, a lot of football left to be played, but looking back, your point in the preseason about Florida not having enough reps and DJ Lagway being in and out with those injuries, as well as some others. There was a couple wide receivers as well who were banged up, who weren't able to get reps in. And it looks like that's the case. That it is a problem right now in Gainesville.
Yeah, it's a big problem. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, we'll learn a lot this weekend. So I think we'll know a lot more depending on how they can fight in Tiger Stadium on the road. Also, too, before we move on, I want to give OU some flowers here. But just real quick, when we're giving out flowers, USF deserves a ton of credit. Alex Galesh, former Tennessee OC, doing a great job there. They beat the tar out of Boise week 1, who was a ranked opponent. Many people thought they were going to be the G5 representative in the playoff. And then they turn around and go to Gainesville and beat the Gators. So phenomenal job in Tampa, not really South Florida, but University of South Florida in Tampa for Galesh there. But again, speaking of flowers, Oklahoma deserves quite a bit themselves. So the Sooners got a big win. In terms of what this means long term, personally, especially based on their schedule, I don't think it means a ton, but I want to give them their flowers in the sense of Michigan's a solid team. They're good defensively. They had a very young quarterback, and that bit them going on the road against a Venables defense. This was absolutely a game that Oklahoma should win, but last year or really in Venables' tenure, very good chance they do not win it. So I think you have to be excited if you're a Sooner fan based on the progress here of we took care of business at home against a solid opponent. I would assume Michigan's going to end up being 8-4 or something like that, but a solid Big Ten opponent by double digits. And there was really no point in that game. I don't know about you, but I never really thought like Michigan was going to win. It just felt like Oklahoma's in control here. Napier had the turnover, but in general, he was making plays. He ran the ball incredibly well and with a lot of physicality. So good sign for Oklahoma and Brent Venables, moving forward with a very tough SEC slate ahead, but great atmosphere, great win. What did you take away from that Saturday night in Norman?
Yeah, I'll be brief here because we've got a couple others that we need to get to, a couple of other games and things that we need to give our thoughts on before we get Rivers on here. But this was about Oklahoma should have won this game, as you said, based on history, based on everything in terms of these teams in this season, right? Like this game was about a young quarterback in Bryce Underwood, who supremely talented, very talented kid. I think he's going to have a stellar career when it's all said and done at the University of Michigan. He showed some really good things in that game against Oklahoma, but it's a young quarterback in his first big game, big start on the road against Brent Venables, who's been coaching defense and has had some of the best defenses in college football now for a very long time. So Brent Venables was going to make it tough on him all night. He did. Bryce Underwood had a lot of trouble under pressure, which you knew that Brent Venables was going to be bringing a lot of pressure all night, and he did. So I was more excited to see what does John Napier look like in an environment like this, and what does he look like against an opponent that is really good, in Michigan. And I think that I'm with you. I agree. I think Michigan's probably around an 8-4 type of team this season. So all that said, if Michigan is going to be an 8-4 type of team this year, Oklahoma, with the aspirations that they have and all the hype that they got in the preseason, needs to be able to beat teams like this. And it wasn't always pretty. John Napier made plays when he needed to, and they got the job done, even when they lost the turnover battle. So there are some things that Oklahoma can clean up for sure, but a nice win in Norman. And it was a beautiful setting too. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful evening there in Norman. The game copy looked awesome on TV. So it was good to see the folks in Norman excited again, for them to get a big win and for that stadium to be rocking and excited about Oklahoma football. So all in all, good win for Oklahoma. And I think it lends itself to, I don't know how much we can take from this game, again, because of the Bryce Underwood being young here, but a nice win gives them some momentum going forward to another difficult schedule. But I think it tells you that this Oklahoma team is for real.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they did themselves, and the SEC showed themselves well. And again, very tough schedule down. We can take a look at it real quick here, but a weird game this week at Temple, but then Auburn, obviously Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Mizzou looks very good, LSU. So a lot of losable games. So getting that one, will go a long way in getting them back to somewhat relevant territory and potentially an SEC threat if they continue to progress. Another team that continues to progress, the Vandy boys. I mean, this was something I did not think that we would see from Vanderbilt, borderline ever. But they go into Lane Stadium, mind you, a Virginia Tech team that just lost to South Carolina week 1. I think it was like 26-11 or something, but closer than this game. And that was in Atlanta at a neutral site. This is in Lane Stadium at night. And Vanderbilt's down 20-10 at half. And then I don't know what was said at halftime. I don't know if Diego Pavia drank some of that, Michael Jordan Space Jam water that gives you crazy powers. But Vanderbilt outscored them 34-0 in the second half. And speaking of coaches that are in trouble, I think Brent Pry at Virginia Tech is certainly in trouble. But to go on the road in a tough environment like that and be down at half and just not blink really, to me, shows you where this program is at, thanks to Clark Lee, Diego Pavia, and that team. And it's just really impressive to see what Vanderbilt is doing.
Yeah, they're gamers, and hand up here. I've been questioning them all off season. I said they were going to be 4-8, and maybe they were going to revert to the mean. Kind of looks like that's not going to happen. Looks like they're firing on all cylinders, and if you got Diego Pavia back there behind center, then you got a chance to win. And what they did in the second half in Lane Stadium in a hostile environment at night, I thought it was going to be potentially a little too much for them, and they showed me. I mean, 34 outscoring Virginia Tech, 34-0 in the second half. That defense was all over Kyron Drones. They looked like a really solid SEC team, and that was a statement. It's not like they won 23-20 on a last-second field goal, which would have been great in its own right. They absolutely demolished Virginia Tech, coming back from a down 10 at halftime. To win in the manner that they did was extremely impressive. So I need to recalibrate my expectations for Vandy. I think that this is a much better team than I thought. I think we're looking at 6-6 again, and maybe better. I mean, I think that you look at their schedule, it's tough again, and you think they're probably going to be will not be favored in a lot of these games, but it doesn't matter. Clark Lee's found something with Diego Pavia and Eli Stowers. Eli Stowers is a stud. So kudos to them. Great win for Vanderbilt. Really happy for them, and big statement win for the Commodores.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just, I'm going to read off some stats, and SEC fans, again, cover your eyes or whatever. But 5 years ago, put yourself in this situation, you would not believe what I'm about to say. Vanderbilt, 490 total yards. Virginia Tech, 248. Passing yards, Vanderbilt, 228. Virginia Tech, 134. Vanderbilt rushing yards, 262. Virginia Tech, 114. Vanderbilt yards per play on offense, 8.6. I mean, they just steamrolled Virginia Tech, like you said, at night on the road when they lost the turnover battle as well. Vanderbilt had 2 turnovers. Virginia Tech had 1. I mean, nothing was slanted in their favor in this game other than they were just the better team by far. And it's extremely impressive. Again, Vanderbilt, we'll see where they end up, but really the season could not have started off better. And that game at South Carolina this weekend is going to be fun. Speaking of teams, though, that could not have started the season better, Mizzou. You and I think you were higher on them in the preseason than I was, if I recall correctly. I was a little worried about, Bo Perbula, the talent that they lost, but they showed up in the border war and just, again, got off to a tough start, did have the game slanted in the opposite direction with Kansas getting the scoop and score, and Mizzou just steamrolled them. Just outgained them by a ton. Bo Prabula looks like a all SEC quarterback through 2 games, mind you, but my goodness, the Missouri Tigers look really good.
They do. I just didn't know what to make of Bo Prabula. In the preseason, we had seen a little bit of him at Penn State, but not much. And whenever they used him at Penn State, it was all for running packages. So we didn't know a lot about what to expect with his arm, but this kid's firing on all cylinders right now, and Mizzou looks really dangerous. I can't remember exactly what I had him in the preseason. I'd have to look back. But I believe I had him around 8-4 or 9-3 maybe. And I think that it's right in front of them. I think Mizzou is going to be a team that challenges for 10 wins again. At this point, you just have to take a step back. And even if there's a lot of question marks on the roster, Drink has recruited well. He's done well through the portal. He's filled spaces in the portal where he needs to. And if you're a Mizzou fan, and now really anybody across the SEC, myself included, you just got to trust Drink. Just sit back there and say, hey, Coach Drinkwitz, he's doing a heck of a job there, and you got to trust what he's doing and believe in what he's got there, because he was the one too. Bo Prabula went into the portal right before the playoff, right? Or like, I can't remember, it was in the middle of it or something like that, because he had to get in there in order to find a school. Drink went right after him. He was like, that's my guy. And he went after him harder than anybody else did. And he was on Bo Prabula from the start and believed in him without a doubt. And you got to give him a lot of credit, because through 2 games, it looks like that was a really good decision and putting his trust in him. So we'll see what it looks like the rest of the season, but that's a good win. And they did it. I think they were down 21-6 at one point in the first half. Yeah. And I picked Kansas to cover in this game because I thought it was going to be, it's the border war, right? Like, first time they've played since 2011. I thought this was going to be a very difficult game. It was, but Missouri clawed back and eventually in the second half just overtook Kansas and ended up covering. So a lot of credit to Drink, a lot of credit to Missouri. This is a dangerous team.
Agreed. And speaking of good starts, dangerous teams, it's perfect timing. We'll bring in our wonderful guest, Rivers Hughey here. And
hello.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
No
Good
problem.
to have you.
Having me. I feel very special. Second guest picker.
Second guest picker on Biscuits.
That's a pretty big deal. I don't know.
Pretty big
Very
deal.
big deal. Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about it. It's huge news.
All dozens of my fans. It's great.
Yep.
Same with our
on Biscuits and SEC is national.
There's at least 24 of us.
Yeah. But no, seriously, thank you so much for joining us. This Rivers Hughey. So for anybody who doesn't know her or follow her work, she's the digital media director over at 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge, as well as LouisianaSports.net. So be sure to check those out. She does a fantastic job. We've been following her and the rest of the crew down there for years. It's a great, great radio station, great, blog, sports centric, Louisiana wide, content creation machine they have going down there. So definitely check out their stuff, and excited to get into what was just a great week. I'm sure for someone like you, we're talking Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but you are a proud Mississippi State Bulldog, and given everything that you and that fan base has been through, just tell us what last week meant.
That was incredible. I'm like, where do I even start? I read something last week where someone compared being a State fan to Sisyphus. And I don't know if you know what that is, but it was a Greek god who was condemned to roll this giant boulder up this very steep hill. And right before you get to the top, the boulder just rolls right back down and you just have to start over. And I just felt it so deeply in my heart. But you know what? On Saturday, that boulder wasn't quite as heavy and the hill wasn't quite as steep. And we made it to the top. We finally made it to the top. And it was very exciting. We did a very not Mississippi State thing, and we ran it up by 17 in the first half. And then we did a very Mississippi State thing and choked on that lead. But you know what? all's well that ends well. It was so loud. It was incredible to watch. And I'm on my couch in Baton Rouge watching, and I'm like texting my parents who are in the stadium. And my mom was like, I've never heard it this loud. I'm pretty sure we disassembled and carried a goalpost out of that stadium faster than anyone's ever done it. Shout out to our
Easily.
engineering school.
Yeah.
You know, but it was incredible. I think the whole week leading up to was like, it was a perfect ending to the whole week, you know, with the Kenny Dillingham stuff and, you know, all of his casinos and hotels and then the videos that came out of their practice with all the tiny cowbells. I think I tweeted it at some point, like that first half, it was just so loud. Someone who has been in that stadium a million times in my life, you know, and I've been around those cowbells. I mean, it truly was louder than I've ever heard it. And I think it was sort of like a hell of Kenny Dillingham's own creation, you know, like you did this to yourself. But it was incredible. I mean, it was, you know, I'm like, we're jumping up and down. I mean, God save Brennan Thompson, like, whew. The very end, I'm just trying to like not wake my kids up who had just carried up to bed. But it was incredible. I mean, it's like you get to enjoy it for a week, you know, and then it's just on to the next one. And I just the temperament of a Mississippi State fan, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm like, God, we have an opportunity this weekend to do the most Mississippi State thing that ever was against Alcorn State, you know? And like,
Yeah.
and that's just the temperament of a Mississippi State fan. It's like, I enjoy it so much and I'm so happy. But I just know that Boulder is just not going to make it up the next time, you know?
Well, I don't know what strain you guys have at Mississippi State, but us Aggies over here, we call it battered Aggie syndrome, otherwise known as BAS. So there's something very similar with Mississippi State fans and Texas A&M fans where
You nailed it.
we can sympathize with you there because we have been there. And I was texting with Hank, with Hammer, just, hey, whoa, look, Mississippi State is up 17-0. This is crazy. You got
I didn't even know how to be. I didn't know how to be.
No.
I was
course
like,
not.
I feel like I should feel comfortable, but like I don't at all in any way.
Exactly.
I was texting with my LSU friends, you know, and one of my friends was like, oh, you know, second half was like, Arizona State is about to go into that locker room and they are about to get chewed out. They are about to just get it handed to them and they are going to come back out ready. And then we're going to lose is what I said. Like, that's what I'm saying at halftime. And he's like, no, you got it. I'm like, that is such an LSU mindset. Like, I can't even imagine feeling that way right now. How do you feel that way? You know? And then we got there towards the end and he was like, ooh, sorry, maybe you were right.
Exactly.
But we did it. But you know what? Again,
You did it.
we did it.
My question for you is, one, where's the cowbell? Because I want you to, you know,
I
ring it
know.
up.
Look, I didn't.
Right now.
I brought one, but then gosh, they're so loud. Even as a Mississippi State fan, I know they are. But look, what I'll tell you is that I mean, I have a million cowbells, right? Like in all shapes and sizes. When I started working here, I got everybody little cowbells.
That's good.
Love it.
He was like, I want you to ring it because, you know, Hammer's wearing headphones and I didn't want to do that to you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had this argument with somebody in, I think maybe I went to Omaha with to watch LSU this year. And I was talking to some fan. He's like, oh, you're a Mississippi State fan. And, you know, those stupid cowbells. Like, I know y'all hate them too. And I was like, I really don't. Like, I know that it's, you know, it's like such a white noise sound to me at this point. It's very comforting, which I know is crazy. And I know anyone who was watching, all dozens of my fans, are going to disagree with that. But I love it. You know, I love it. But you know what I will say? I mean, that stadium was the loudest. I mean, I keep saying that, but like, it was the loudest I've ever heard it. And I kept waiting for it. I kept waiting for people to get, I mean, you know, your arms start to get tired. It's a lot. It's a lot to ring those cowbells. It just kept on keeping on. So
I feel like Mississippi State fans, depending on whether they use their right or their left hand, like one arm is just way bigger than the other.
You're like, at some point, you're just like holding it up, you know? Oh my God.
My last question for you on Mississippi State, unless Hammer's got anything else, is what casino did you plan to hit in Starkville had you been there?
There's like one casino anywhere near Starkville. It's 45 minutes away. I just thought that was I won't harp on it too much because I know that everyone kind of like jumped on him and he ended up backing out of it, midweek. But it's just such a strange hill to die on, Kenny. What do we, like, there are so many things you can make fun of Mississippi State and Starkville for. So many, so many. This was a first. This was a first. I think I was just more irritated because none of it was even based in truth. Like, a lot of times people will make fun of us for the cows and the ag and all the stuff. You know what? Like, I can't even get mad at you for that because we do have a lot of cows. Like, we do. We are in the middle of nowhere. We are. And so, like, I don't like it, but I can't get mad at you for that. I don't know where Kenny was going. And then he went off on this tangent about his finicky football player eaters, which, sir, these are collegiate like athletes. Are you letting them tell you that they're not going to eat something? Like, whatever. It was such a strange thing. But no, I don't think anyone. Maybe everyone drove to the casino in Philadelphia, Mississippi, 45 minutes away to celebrate. Maybe they had a really great night.
I wish I had been there. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I expected a lot of Mississippi State fans were hitting black or hitting whatever they were playing at that casino for sure. The other part of it too, isn't he from Memphis? He knows that Mississippi State doesn't have a casino.
He coached at Auburn.
He was being cheeky,
That's right.
Yeah.
My kids watch a lot of Peppa Pig and they pick up weird things. My son's been saying everyone's cheeky. I'm like, not Kenny Dillingham. He's being cheeky right now.
Yeah, you're right, son. Kenny Dillingham.
He's being a little cheeky right now.
Yeah, I love it.
No doubt.
Well, that's all fantastic. Again, what a weekend for
Wait, I come in and y'all are talking about Missouri. I'm like, of course, now that we have won the exact same amount of games this season that we won last season, I'm like, maybe we could win a few more. I don't know. I'm like looking at the schedule and I was like, I don't know, maybe Missouri. Now you're all like, watch out for Missouri. Missouri's dangerous. That's not what I'm trying to hear.
Well, here, look at this schedule here. You can check it out. I mean, where do you see the wins? Because I'm with you. I think State will get some more.
Okay, hear me out. I know that it's like whatever, but maybe Ole Miss. We're going to be in Starkville. We're in Starkville.
Mm-hmm.
That game I always say is less about who is better and just, it's really more about where they are. And it's just so emotional. It's such an emotional game for those players. So possibly, Alcorn State, fingers crossed that we don't screw that up.
Yeah.
Northern Illinois. Okay, so that's 4 right there
right.
for sure.
Hit
Maybe
over.
5 with Ole Miss.
Yep.
I don't know. I was hoping maybe Missouri, Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arkansas. Come on.
Florida, Arkansas. I'm not sure about Arkansas. I don't really know how to feel about Arkansas yet. But Florida, maybe. Maybe Missouri. Maybe
I think you're going to beat Texas.
I sure hope so. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that we're playing them, I guess, in Starkville. We're playing Georgia and Texas in Starkville, which is, nice.
Right. Get those goalposts ready.
I try to go to 3 or 4 games a year because I still have season tickets. My parents live there. And so I'm going to Texas, I'm going to Georgia, and I'm going to Ole Miss. So maybe I'll bring the good luck.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, I love it. Well, let's get into our picks for this coming weekend. So we've got 6 games. We're picking against the spread. Hopefully we shared these lines with you ahead of time.
Yes.
But we've got we'll start with Wisconsin at Alabama. So I think, speaking of teams we don't really know what to think about, I'm sure Alabama probably falls into that category. Wisconsin certainly would for me. I don't know what they have going on with Luke Fickell up there. They've
I can tell you very little about Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're 2-0, but their opponents were Middle Tennessee and Miami, Ohio. So not quite sure what to think there. But Alabama's 20.5-point favorites. Obviously, it's in Tuscaloosa. Do you think the Tide, are straightening things out and will cover this, or is that too many points for?
That's a lot of points. I'm not saying Alabama is going to be a national championship, but I feel like my brain is still like processing the version of Alabama that was Nick Saban. So maybe it's because I don't know anything about Wisconsin, and maybe because of that, because of the Kalen DeBoer of it all. I just feel like Alabama could probably stick their whole second string in there and beat Wisconsin. But like again, maybe that's just because of how I viewed Alabama for so long. 20.5 points is a lot of points. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Wisconsin's gonna hang in there, but like maybe. I don't know. Fun fact though. Fun fact. Kalen DeBoer, I don't know if you've seen this. He is 9-1 when he's wearing all black. He is 1-4 when he wears a polo shirt. And all the Alabama fans have been getting so mad at him because he's not out there in his polo. So he finally wore that red Alabama polo for the Florida State game. And guess what happens? You know,
There you go.
next week he's in his black hoodie. So I don't know, I maybe should wait to make this pick until I see what he's gonna wear, but I feel pretty safe picking Alabama to cover here.
That's some in-depth analysis for all you bettors out there. Yeah,
Look,
you know,
here,
hey.
I'll give you a little fun fact. Is I don't know if it's quite a secret, but I'm not an X's and O's girl, but I do filter all of my sports knowledge through social media and pop culture. So I got a lot of facts and I got a lot of stats because that's pretty much all the internet is.
Yeah,
that's true, and ridiculous stats and useless information. Like
so many, but like I would rather know that than anything. Like that's more fun to me.
True.
Yeah.
For
well,
sure.
If anybody's waiting until a few minutes before game time to bet on this, check out what Kalen DeBoer is wearing.
Some inside sources. I don't know. Maybe we can make a phone call. See what the wardrobe's looking like.
Yeah. When he calls into SEC Nation or into game day, and he's got the headphones in, walking around pregame. What is he wearing? Is he wearing the hoodie?
Do we have eyes on DeBoer?
That's right. That's exactly right. That's great. Okay, so you're taking Alabama to cover here.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
Look, to be quite honest, I hope Wisconsin hangs in there. I love I'm a Mississippi State fan. I love a little guy. I want him to do well, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I'm with you. I looked around a little bit at Wisconsin, and they brought in a kid, quarterback, Danny O'Neill, San Diego State transfer, and he had 12 TDs and 6 INTs last year. Pretty good QBR, 127 QBR. But just kind of like San Diego State transfer, I don't know. I'm not. I don't think so.
You're not going to buy that bill of goods?
He's no Bo Pribula or Blake Shapen.
No.
Come on.
Yeah. So, all right. So our next game here is Tennessee and Georgia. And by the way, we don't make our picks on this show. We just set it up and let our guest pick.
I saw that.
But for our audience, just so everybody knows, we do our picks on SEC After Dark on Thursday. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central for our picks.
Have you already mentally made your picks? Do you already know? You're trying to get insider information from me. What are we doing here?
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening. That's the whole point. We bring our guest pickers to get the inside info, and then potentially, I might pull a fast one tomorrow on our show, and switch my picks.
I heard this thing about Kalen DeBoer's polo.
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
Great point. Yeah, mental note right there. All right. So Georgia and Tennessee. This line has actually moved a lot. So we pick our games when the line starts. Usually, I guess we pick our games by end of Tuesday is what we do. So whatever the line is at there, that's what we pick. But with you, we're picking them tonight with the lines that have came out this morning.
Making it harder on you.
Exactly.
Wait, what line are you picking them at?
So the line for this game was at 7.5 as of Tuesday. It moved to 3.5. So there's been a lot of money that's been put on Tennessee here and pushing that line. So I don't know. I think people are.
I mean, it's in Knoxville, right? I mean, it's in.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's in Knoxville. It's in Knoxville. I mean, okay, there's that. I was thinking 3.5 sounded crazy. Like,
yeah,
7 sounds closer to what I was thinking. I don't know. I mean, like,
people are worried about Stockton. I think that's.
I just don't believe Kirby Smart is gonna let this be close. I mean, I think they beat Tennessee 8 years in a row, or in Knoxville. What was it? What is it? Was it 17, 20 points? Josh Heupel hasn't scored against Georgia. What is it? Josh Heupel team is They've never scored more than 20 points against Georgia. And then Kirby Smart has never scored less than 27 against them.
Oh.
Also, Tennessee without their 2 starting corners again. So,
For
yeah.
3.5 sounds crazy. I mean, that's crazy, though. So, I mean, something's happening.
Mhm.
Oh, now I'm nervous. Now, I don't know.
You believer in Joey Aguilar?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. I am going to take Georgia to cover this. I do not think they're going to get within 3.5. They may score more than their 20 points. They may break that this season. I do not think they're going to get within 3.5.
Yeah. My read on this game, similar to kind of what you were getting at there, Rivers, I think, just like I trust Kirby Smart here. And I don't fully trust Mike Bobo, but I don't think they've been like vanilla because they played Marshall and Austin P.
Yeah.
They're not trying to put anything on tape.
Yeah.
I don't know what Gunnar
But maybe
Stockton's
that's the
capable
deal.
of.
Maybe they're just maybe that's what they're doing though. Like intentionally
they're
not
baiting
putting
them
things
into
on tape. Yeah. Which would be cool. I mean, that would be great. Again, I want to see the underdog win at all times. But I just don't think they're going to. So if I have to pick, I'm going to pick Georgia to cover.
Yep.
I hope I'm wrong about all these picks.
I like it. I like you're doing it on the fly here too.
Well, I mean, I guess I have thoughts about all of it. I know. I was thinking that right before I came on. I was like, I should have probably made my decision before. I'm like, maybe I'll talk myself out of something.
I mean,
do how you want to. It's your
you
roadie.
could be flipping a coin back there, and you might, you probably do better than I end up doing on this stuff.
Yeah, that's
Look,
right.
again, I'm not an X's and O's girl. If you want that, you're going to have to call Cole Kublick. But I can give you some fun stats, and then I can make decisions on the fly.
There you go.
Love it. Well, our next game, Arkansas travels to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is a 7.5 point favorite. This game always seems to just be completely off the rails.
Just
so
drunk all the time.
I'm hoping we get that again. 7.5 is, probably fair, but Ole Miss didn't cover last week against Kentucky. Arkansas has played a bunch of cupcakes, so I'm interested to watch this one and see what happens. But what is your read here on the game in Oxford?
What I will say is Ole Miss fans think that Mississippi State fans sit around spending a lot of time thinking about them. When in reality, I don't think about them very much at all. So really haven't thought about Ole Miss a lot. I really like Lane Kiffin. So I enjoy watching him coach that team. But like 4 interceptions through 2 games is worrisome. So there's that. But last year, I mean, that game last year was crazy. I feel they what was it, almost 700 yards that they 700 yards. They set or tied about 5 different school records against Arkansas. I don't know what to think about Arkansas. So I feel like I've seen Ole Miss and I feel like they're going to be okay. I just don't know what to think about Arkansas against SEC teams right now. And I'm not honestly sure. If you're being an objective fan of either team, you're watching, I don't think either of them really knows what's going to happen either. If you're being objective, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You know what I might do? I think I'm going to take Arkansas to cover.
Love it.
7.5. I think so. I
over
don't
a
like that
touchdown.
base. I don't like that base.
I don't mind it at all. I
feel
look,
like
Taylon Green with the experience and with Bobby Petrino going up against Austin Simmons of what we've seen through 2 games, I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I mean, you're going against your bitter rival. You should obviously.
I know.
I mean, of course, big Arkansas.
This
is expected.
I don't care. I don't care very much. No. Again, I like Lane Kiffin. I don't like Ole Miss, but I like watching the team play. But I'm going to take Arkansas.
Okay, I like it.
Love it.
That's our friend.
Yeah, we don't. What is it? Says we know nothing about who Arkansas really is. I know.
Yep.
But you know what? I'm gonna put some faith in them.
Okay, I like it. I respect that. I think that's a good pick.
Did y'all think I was going to pick? Did you think there was any possibility that I'd pick Ole Miss?
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, of course not.
No, I,
Look, I did make that pick on the fly, though. To be very clear, I made that pick on the fly.
Let the record
That's not
show.
pre-decided.
that's good. That's our friend Mike Huseman from Off Season After Dark. He does a great job there. So yeah, I think he's right. I'm with you too. We don't know much about Arkansas.
Yes.
Like, what can we really know? But there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like bubbling up about them. Just interesting. You know, I can't say that I can think they're good yet or anything like that. But Taylon Green, Bobby Petrino, like I said, I don't know. Maybe they got something there. We'll see. There's a million new faces there in Arkansas, just like there is at Mississippi State. So we'll see what they end up being. And hey, this could be, if they cover or if they get a win at Ole Miss, then it's a whole different conversation about, what's going on in Fayetteville.
Yes. No, I agree. I mean, selfishly hope that they win, but I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to cover.
Okay.
Or I don't think they're going to, I think Arkansas will cover. Did I say that I think they'll beat Ole Miss earlier?
No, you just said cover.
They're just going to
hold you to the cover. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
We'll root for the upset, but we can still cover.
There you go.
In my heart, I would like that.
Right. Okay. Let's get into the next one here. This is the Aggies versus Notre Dame. This is going to be a big one. The Aggies hosted Notre Dame last year. Now they're going to South Bend. So do we think they can get the Golden Domers this year? This would be a massive story if A&M can win this one. And and Notre Dame, I don't know exactly what to think of them either just yet. Like, is the quarterback situation settled? Yeah. Is Angeli good? I don't know yet. So I think that's the quarterback's name. Maybe Carr. Sorry, Angeli's at Syracuse. Yeah, Carr. I just don't know what to think of Notre Dame yet, and I don't know if we know much about A&M either. Their first two games, they won.
What do you think? You're the A&M guy. What are we doing?
I don't know.
What's your inside scoop?
Here's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about Texas A&M's run defense against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame hasn't really, pulled out all the stops with Jeremiah Love yet. I know Carr can run as well, so and A&M. Gosh, traditionally A&M against running quarterbacks, they kick our ass. I don't know what the problem is, but for whatever reason they do. So I'm a little worried about the run defense. The run defense through 2 weeks against lesser opponents hasn't been too good. So against Notre Dame, a big step up in talent and competition. That's where my pressure point is for A&M. And I'm excited to see with Marcel Reed. Like, does he step up, and what does he look like in a very big game on the road at night?
You didn't really convince me there. I'm going to be honest.
I don't think
there's also, not to push you the other way yet again, but I believe the stat is A&M has not beat a ranked opponent on the road since 2015 or 14. So a lot of recent history going against the Aggies in this.
Hey, I got
0-13
on that stat, though. That stat is very, very misleading here because that is the teams that were ranked at the end of this season. They have ranked wins on the road. That is a lie.
That's Texas Texas media putting that out there.
That's right. Yeah, that was a Kyle Umar special.
They're perpetuating false facts.
That's right.
Okay. 6.5. Okay. More stats for you. A&M is 3-12 against the spread under Elko. Notre Dame is 29-14 against the spread under Marcus Freeman.
I don't like that.
I just don't love how that sounds out loud.
Bad stat.
I mean, it's math. It's math.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird? This is not related necessarily to the teams, but for some reason, A&M and Notre Dame have very similar vibes to me. I'm going to try to say this and not be offensive because I hate when people stereotype my own school. I feel like there's this sort of like sense of your own like prestige and importance. And I don't know if it's just because the schools seem big and there's a lot of traditions in both schools. It just feels like to me that both communities think a lot of themselves. I don't know. Y'all just feel very similar to me. While I know y'all are different schools, I don't know. I'm excited to see you play again. I think Notre Dame's going to cover, though. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't fight. I can't fight against math.
That's fair. I can't disagree with anything you've said.
I can't fight.
We're gonna end the stream now, but
it's been good talking to you, bud.
yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Oh wow.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you have a reputation to uphold. You got to make what feels right. So we understand.
Just an arbiter of truth. Yep.
Fair enough. You know, but you know, underdog. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you in my heart.
We'll take that. As long as you're rooting for us, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I really like. It's funny being in Baton Rouge. People, LSU fans, just do not like A&M. They just don't. hate A&M. And it's funny because I'm not necessarily apathetic about A&M, but like I don't mind A&M. Like I don't have any gripes with you guys. Like I don't know. I've been there. I had a great time. It was fun. It was, you know, I was watching Texas A&M play Kansas, so I didn't really have any like stake in it, but I don't know. I had a great time. People were very kind and welcoming, and I don't know. I got no problems with A&M, but it is funny that here, not a lot of fans of you guys.
Well, it's reciprocated. We don't like them either.
We don't like them either.
Yeah, no, we don't like, whatever. Hey, but to me, that's the point of college football. And to LSU fans, I have, LSU friends. I like LSU. We had Daily Joy, LSU grad, our first guest picker. Let the record show that these Aggies have an LSU grad on.
That is a good point. Excellent point.
So, I love going to Baton Rouge, and I actually, this is a quick aside here, but I went to the game in 2012 when Johnny Manziel was on his Heisman run, and it was a foggy, nasty day in Baton Rouge, and LSU served us up a loss. I think it was maybe that was 2013. I can't remember, but either way, tough look. I got a lot of LSU fans.
Did you have fun? Or I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe you did.
No, I had zero fun because we lost.
But I was right as that was leaving my mouth. I was like,
I was down there. I was at A&M at the time, and I was down there for a day party, and we got back on the bus as soon as the game was over and went straight back to New Orleans.
Wait, that's crazy. Wait, so y'all had a day party in New Orleans and you came to Baton Rouge for the game?
We went to the game.
That's fun.
It was a great time. Would have been better if we won, but overall, I had a very enjoyable experience for the most part in Baton Rouge and New Orleans for sure.
Yeah, y'all have to start taking this show on the road. Y'all can come visit.
Hey, been in talks, and we've had thoughts about that. So maybe down the road we'll do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll let you know if we're coming to Baton Rouge. We'll give you a holler.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be a lot of fun. All right, well, we got two more games here, so let's.
Sorry, I'm chatty. Y'all got to tell me y'all got to start giving me like the behind the scenes like.
Hey, don't even. No, we love talking ball. We'll talk with you for another whole hour if you want to,
exactly.
But we'll let you get out of here at some point.
Exactly. Yeah, you got kids at home, so we need to get you.
I know.
I
I did look. Just so you guys know, I missed my son's flag football game tonight for this. He is Michigan. They do the weird thing here where you get an actual college team. So he is a Michigan Wolverine, and I'm like, I have to explain to him. I'm like, we don't really like them, but like,
yeah. I actually
do you bring Cowbells to the flag football game though?
Well,
even though he's not a Mississippi State.
Wolverines. We're Michigan. No. Well, it's funny. I saw on the schedule they just listed out the mascots, and I saw dogs, and I was like, what are the chances? It was short term.
Of course.
I like that they do the college teams instead of NFL teams.
Yeah, I think it feels fun for them. Of course, he's like, can we watch this game on TV? And I'm like, no, we can't. But I appreciate it. I appreciate that you want to.
You ought to start recording him for some huddle highlights.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's like, I do love watching it. He's the tiniest person out there. He had his very first practice, and he's like out there trash talking. I'm like, what is he doing? He's so small. And then he did something, and he gets back in line. He looks at me, and he was like, I'm very good. I was like, okay, you know what?
That's awesome.
You know what? It's great. That's half of playing football right there. Just
we just start teaching him some dances and doing the
Okay.
That's fantastic. Well, speaking of someone else who looks rather small at times on the football field, but plays big, Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt are going to South Carolina. Gamecocks 5.5-point favorites. They have a common opponent, so maybe we know something about these two. Vanderbilt dispatched to Virginia Tech much more emphatically than South Carolina did. So what do you think on this one? Can Pavia and the crew cover? Could they win? How are we feeling?
Okay, this is the funnest fact that I'm going to give you. All right, are you ready? Shane Beamer is undefeated against bald head coaches.
Okay, that's a big deal in this game.
I don't know if this is true at all. It's just something that's on the internet, and I am unwilling to do any investigation to see if it's true or not. But I saw it, and I believed it. Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm like, I wanted to go. What else do you need? But in saying that, I think I'm going to take Vandy to cover. I think I am. What? I don't like your faces. Every time I make a pick, y'all are.
No, I that's
I'm
a perfectly
right
reasonable
now,
pick.
I'm picking the wrong answer.
We're trying to gaslight you on your own pick.
You are gaslighting me.
Hey, many people have picked against Pavia and they immediately regret it. So you're picking with.
I know. Look, and oh my gosh, y'all, at SEC Media Days, we're like, we see all these players walking by, and for the most part, like, unless you're Arch, you're dressed in like a suit. Arch came dressed like he rolled out of bed at the frat house, like straight up. Just, I mean, exactly how you would expect him to look. I just wanted to iron his khakis. I wanted to be his mom. I'm like, can I just see those really quick? But everybody else is just like in a suit or whatever. Pavia walking by in a full tuxedo. And I was just like, look at that guy. Look at him. I mean, are you trying to bet against that guy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
either. I think it's a good pick.
I'm going to pick Vandy to cover.
Okay. I
Love
like it. All right, let's get into our final one here. And then right before you go, I want to hear your thoughts because I know that, you're 104.5 ESPN there in Baton Rouge. You cover LSU Tigers. So make your pick on this game. But then I'm interested to hear what your thoughts on LSU are, right now, because bit of a shaky game there last week, and what you think their outlook on the season is. But this one's also kind of a shaky game. Shaky last week for LSU. USF goes into the swamp and beats Florida, but now Florida comes into Death Valley. What are you looking at in this game?
I feel so bad because I feel like South Florida basically ended the Billy Napier era, taking the easiest game on Florida's schedule and then turning it into this like generational upset. And I really like Billy Napier. He was in Louisiana for a little while. He coached at University of Louisiana, UL. He would do local radio with us. A very nice guy. You can't keep a coach because he's a nice guy. It's like me. I love Joe Moorhead, but what are you gonna do? Like, you can't just keep him around because he's nice. So it's like, what do you do? I mean, technically, you come to Baton Rouge and you beat LSU. Like, that's what you could do if you're Billy Napier, which will certainly require everyone to keep their shoes on. But I don't see that happening. But on the other side of it, LSU's coming off this like exciting week 1 win. Like, they hadn't gotten one in so long. They beat Clemson, immediately followed by a not so great game against Louisiana Tech, while simultaneously realizing that the Clemson win maybe wasn't quite what they thought it was. So I think for them, like, they have to show, like, they're what they're doing this week is they have to show up and like show us they are who they've said they are. Like, they have sold us this bill of goods, and like, it's not looking great right now. But it's in Baton Rouge. It's at night. Florida is really Florida-ing over there. So I don't feel very, like, this one is not hard for me, like LSU for sure, but I don't know. I mean, it would be really cool for Billy Napier to see Florida come in and do something interesting. And it's interesting for me being here because, like, while I work in sports media here and cover LSU and all of that, I'm not an LSU fan. So there's a piece of me that that doesn't mind seeing them not perform as well as they thought they were going to. But I think they're going to get it together. I think they're going to be fine. I'm not worried about this Florida game. They're going to cover easily. 3, though, is crazy.
Well, so
3
that's
feels crazy.
wild here. That this line, people are obviously thinking that this may be, a wild out of left field bounce back game for Florida, because the line, I think we picked it at 9.5, and it's moved to 3. So there's been a lot of money going to Florida. That's a massive line move, towards Florida here. So yeah, I don't know.
Crazy to me. Like, who did that?
Right. Some whale put like couple million, who knows, right? To move the line like that is just crazy. But
LSU is 112-15 in night games at home since 2000. Like, you think Florida's going to be number 16? Like, nah, get out of here.
Not this Florida team.
No, but it
bad
would be crazy.
vibes out of games.
Like, that would be crazy. That would be what, I mean, that's what Billy Napier needs to happen.
They have the one guy, I know he didn't play well last week, but the one guy that you kind of think maybe, DJ Lagway gets hot, it could at least push him. But I'm with you. It is going to be tough to walk in there with what we're seeing out of Florida. To come out of Death Valley with a win would be nothing short of a miracle.
I mean, I looked at that one and I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I saw 3 and I was like, maybe they wrote that wrong.
I double checked it because I had to do a double take too.
No, I don't. I feel very good about LSU running away with this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as LSU goes, they're going to be fine. I mean, the vibes here are fine. I think, like I said, very excited post Clemson. They just needed that win. They needed that. But then to follow it up with that game against Louisiana Tech, like, it's just not what they wanted. But they're going to be fine. We're 2 games into the season. Garrett Nussmeier is it's gonna go off. He's gonna be great. I'm not worried about him. I really like Brian Kelly. He's kind of, I feel like he's very polarizing here.
You're a fan of his family?
Huh?
You're a big fan of his family?
Wait, how did he say it?
Piss a lot of people off.
Family.
I will say, you know what? To his credit, I feel like he's done a better job of endearing himself to this community. Like, he had a few missteps there for sure, but I like him, and he reads very politician, which I actually don't mind either. He's good at managing a room. I imagine he's good at managing locker room. And when I say room, I mean, I see him in front of the media, and he manages the way he just manages a room, the way he leads a room. I imagine being very powerful probably in a locker room. So I'm not worried about LSU. I think they're going to be fine. I guess we'll see. I mean, I wish they were playing anybody other than Florida maybe this week. We would maybe see a little bit more, but they still have an opportunity to show us that they've gotten it together. And I think probably they were just so excited after that first win. And they were like, we got that first win. And I don't want to say that they didn't care about the second game, but I do think that they got that win against Clemson and they were like, oh, we have Louisiana Tech next week. Like, whatever. And I know they want to do this whole big, we're 1-0 every week. We're 1-0. Like, that's not practical,
I'm with you. It's also, that's such a tough thing to go from Clemson, which all offseason you have been preparing for, and have this emotional high and then come down off this roller coaster, to go to Louisiana Tech and then have to get right back up. And you don't know what Florida's going to be. You didn't know the USF score before week 2. And now you have to pick up for that.
Florida has nothing to lose.
Yeah. And that's a scary thing.
That's a very scary thing. They have absolutely nothing to lose here. So that's scary. I still don't think that LSU's gonna have a problem. I mean, but look, it's the same thing, Mississippi State, we're riding that high, and then we got Alcorn State, and just please keep your fingers crossed for us.
We will. Yeah, we will. That can't happen. We can't let that happen.
But I mean, they can't.
They don't have Steve McNair anymore. I think
I have seen many things. I've seen many things. It can, but hopefully it doesn't.
All right. Well, yeah, let's see. We've got okay, so those are all your picks. So you went with Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Notre Dame, Vandy, and LSU to cover. Last week we did have Daily Joy on. She went 2-4. So We're counting on you to be better than 2-4.
Okay. I feel like I can do that.
I was to say, I liked your pick. So I think you can, I think we've got a better record coming up. So,
Okay.
maybe you'll be top spot after this week.
Bailey had some good picks too. She had, she picked USF to cover, which was impressive.
Oh, okay.
And then she picked Mizzou to cover, which was a solid pick as well, but missed on Virginia Tech and ASU. And that's where the wheels fell off a little bit. So anyway,
that's on her. You know what? Now that
That's
I've heard
right.
that's on her.
That is. All right. Well, I think we can let you go. Your son's got a flag football game. I'm sure he's doing the gritty or something in the end zone right now. So we'll let you.
He's told me he's going to score 100,000 touchdowns. So I can't wait to hear about all of them.
Absolutely. Good luck to him this season for sure. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rivers. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. See you down the road.
All right. That was a great guest picker. Super fun time. Thanks again to Rivers Hughey for coming on. You can see down below at Rivers Hughey. Follow her on social media, as well as LouisianaSports.net and 104.5 ESPN down in Baton Rouge. Again, they do great work, and she does a great job of heading up their digital media stuff. So anything else before we close out the show tonight? I know we got some maybe topics that we missed earlier, but I think we covered it for the most part.
Yeah, no, I think we covered it. We're not going to have a biscuit of the week or a Muschamp coach of the week this week. We just, with the news today, it was just we just thought it was a little bit much, and we also wanted to have a good guest picker segment there with Rivers Hughey. So again, thank you to her for joining us. We had a lot of fun doing that. Again, we led the show with this, just a somber day, just very, very difficult news out of Utah. So we want to send our condolences and our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family, and may he rest in peace, and just praying for our country as well. So we put the live there in black today, just to honor him. And, we'll be back next week, just talking ball, and, hopefully some better news next week. But just felt like we still wanted to do a show tonight, just because football brings people together. We've got rivalries, and, we can get angry at each other and yell at each other about different rivalries. But at the end of the day, all of us love to come together, watch football games, and be in a stadium together and enjoy this sport that we all love. And so we wanted to give a reprieve for at least an hour tonight for folks just to come and hang out with us for a little bit, talk some football, and enjoy it, and look forward to this weekend. Agreed, Mike. Well said. So just want to say thank you all for joining us. We absolutely love doing this, and really appreciate all of you who watch, who follow us on social media, and who enjoy our content. And we're going to keep doing much of the same going forward and throughout this season, and just really look forward to having you guys with us. We'll be back to normal schedule next week with Biscuit of the Week and Muschamp Coach of the Week, and we're looking forward to that. So with that, Hammer, I'll let you take us out.
Yep. Again, thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great weekend. We've got a fun slate of football ahead. We'll just throw on a quick video here to close us, but appreciate y'all joining us. Thanks again. We'll see y'all next week.